Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils post-game show brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. I'm Anthony Totri, joined once again by my good friends Shawn, Shane. Guys, ASU falls short to the Wildcats, a final score of 67-56. This was tough. ASU led for the majority of the first half, didn't trail at all in the first half to the Wildcats, but ultimately fall short. They went about 7 minutes in the second half without a field goal. What are your guys' initial reactions?
We've done this before. You know, lots of hope to start the game and just falling flat. If you could really encompass Arizona State's season into one player, it would be DJ Horne, starting off super strong in most games. You know, 5 for 6 from the 3-point line at the beginning in the first half, and then virtually a non-factor in the second half. It's just bizarre how they go away from things that work. You're still getting weird shot selections, but overall, this isn't something to be sad about. I mean, it hurts because this team lost, obviously, but it's not the worst. It's not a bad loss. It's definitely not a bad loss.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it sucks, and with the way the game ended, it's painful, but I go back to the conversations we had yesterday. None of us expected this game to go like this. I mean, you and I, well, Shane is the exception, but how seriously can you take Shane's opinion because he still believes in Marion?
Come on!
I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But Totri and I didn't think this game was going to be anywhere close. We both had this as at least 20-point wins. The spread was even worse than we had predicted it to be. And they were in this game for the majority of it, even down to the last couple of minutes. It was a 12-point lead, and then they hit a 3, and I was like, it was only 9 points, and I'm like, oh, maybe something can this is the kind of games where ASU obviously is not in the same league as U of A this year, but when it comes to a rivalry like this, you want them to compete, and you want the game to be close, and that's exactly what they did. So like I said, it hurts, but it was better than I expected, and it gave me hope, I guess, even if false hope.
Yeah, 100%. Before we get into the specifics of the game itself, I want to touch on the big thing that stood out to me. We can get on your guys' big takeaways and what stood out to you. But for me, this is growth, right? Obviously, like you said, Shawn, you want to see this rivalry as close as possible. But I think something that gets thrown out of it is the fact that U of A is the number 3 team in the country. ASU owned, I would say, the pace of this game in the first half. Defensively, they played lights out. Shane, you tweeted it. The narrative is probably going to be, oh, Arizona couldn't buy a bucket. In reality, if you go back and watch the game, ASU played defensively really, really well, specifically Jalen Graham in the paint compared to just the guys that the Wildcats have. From a size perspective, ASU played really, really well. And you go back to Monday's game against USC, right, where they were able to put together that super solid 12 minutes at the start of the game, but then fell short. In terms of growth, they played a full half of really good basketball and were tied with the number 3 team in the nation. Ultimately, they weren't able to get it done. But, I mean, like you said, Shane, it can't be the narrative of, Arizona just was playing bad on offense.
No, and they were missing some pretty good looks at 3 earlier in that first half before they got one to fall in the second half. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, that's a part of the game is you have to adjust to making shots. And I was thinking about this. What was it, about 5 minutes to go in the first half? U of A is down 3 points, and they only have 2 field goals, shooting 2 of 13. If ASU starts 2 of 13, they're nowhere near what U of A is, because U of A is a good basketball team that knows how to adjust. And what they did was get to the free throw line. And Saul, you did say they needed to slow it down, and they did. And that's why ASU was able to stay in it for sure. And to your credit, congratulations. I'm glad you're giving yourself flowers on our show. But the reason why I didn't expect that to work is because I've never seen the ASU offense work when they're in sets, and it was working tonight. They were forcing action. They were getting to the paint and kicking out the shooters, and they were hitting their threes, which always helps. But for the most part, I thought the offense looked pretty good. Still some questionable shots, but it trending up. I mean, they showed heart and they were competitive. That's all you can really ask for in a game like this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, also keep reminding myself, like, obviously, like I said, this game sucks, but I'm looking for positives. This game was in Tucson. Like, think about how differently this game goes if this is at DFA, right? I mean, and like I had mentioned in previous games, like, or on previous shows, maybe that them being around a crowd like this, they feed off of that, and it's exactly what it seemed like they did. They were hustling. They were clearly outsized, but kept the rebound numbers at least close. Like, they played like inspired basketball. They played like, which they always do, but they actually turned that into production, which was really nice to see, and something like we hadn't seen really at all outside of those 12 minutes against USC. So, I mean, in terms of when this rivalry comes to Tempe, I'm very excited for what I got out of this game.
Yeah, I do want to bring something up before. I just need to get this off my chest. I've been fired up about it since it happened. I texted you guys. The CBS broadcaster, Tocher, you weren't able to hear this, but I just thought this was ridiculous. U of A banks in a three, which ended up being, like that's a turning point. He called it a dagger. He said this is the dagger in the game with 6 minutes to go. And to me, that is just so fucking disrespectful. I thought that was just ridiculous that he would say that. I hated it. And that's kind of what this, like, everyone out from the outside looking in thinks about this team. And yeah, it turned out to be a really big three. I mean, if you would have said, "Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That sucks." That, sure, 100%. But don't call it a dagger with 6 minutes to go. You're saying this ASU team, who had fought the entire game, has no chance to get back into the game. It's just ridiculous. I can't do that.
Yeah, it goes along with the message that this was Arizona falling short as opposed to ASU showing up today, which I think is going to be a lot of the takeaway. But in reality, again, like, we have seen this team grow just over the course of the last few games. Again, I can't stress enough just the difference from Monday to Saturday, the performance that you saw, especially right out of the gate, right? ASU played great defensively against USC for the first 12 minutes, struggled for the rest of the game, specifically on offense. Here, I feel like it was a complete turnaround. On top of the great defense that they started out with, they were able to get those buckets to fall. You mentioned DJ Horne earlier. Horne knocked down 5 3-pointers in the first half, and like, he was just hot, man. Everything was sinking for him. Now, it would have helped if Marion Jackson would have been able to hit a couple of his shots or not turn the ball over in some key moments. But and that's where I kind of want to go next is, imagine what this game would have been if Marion Jackson would have played the way that he played against USC. We're talking about a very different game here this afternoon, if that's the case.
Yeah, I said it. This team needs a guy like DJ_20, and he finished with 17, by the way, after having 15 in the first half. They need DJ_20 plus, and they need another guy to be around that range, and they just didn't have that. Jalen Graham was the closest thing to that tonight. That jump shot is. It's not a fluke. It's pure. That jump shot, or the hook, not the jump shot. Excuse me.
Watch yourself.
The hook. The hook shot is pure. The jump shot needs some work, and we don't need Jalen Graham jump shots early in the shot clock. We just don't.
100%. Do we have the Bobby Hurley mood board available? I feel like this is.
Go ahead and throw that up.
It's a great time to just get your guys' initial reactions. The fans heckling Bobby a ton here at the McHale Center. Shane, let's start with you. Where are you at on this mood board?
I'm in between a 7 and a 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
a little happy, but I'm also like.
I'm a hard 2 on this one. I'm just like kissing my teeth. I don't know what to. You look at it and it's like, yeah, ASU hung in this, and it was a really good performance. But at the end of the day, we lost to U of A, and it's hard to be all that happy about that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm feeling at an 8, to be honest with you. Just that's me looking up at the scoreboard and looking at the numbers post game. Like, it's just like, what could have been, right? Because this team. The false hope is annoying. Like you've said so much, Shawn, I feel like this team is just really keen on playing with Sun Devil fans' emotions, specifically yours. They love to do it. But it's just, there was a lot left out on the court, I feel like. You know what I mean? And that's the last thing that you want in a game like this, in a rivalry up against a number 3 team in the country. Like, you don't want to leave here today with the fact in your head of, like, what could have been, right? It needs to be every game. That's that. We left it all on the court. One thing. Go ahead. One thing I want to get into before we move on to really like the next section is just for another game, the free throws proved to be so pivotal against ASU. I don't have the numbers pulled up exactly, but I know the margin is just absolutely ridiculous. Like I think
they shot 32, ASU shot 15.
Like, and how many did U of A make in comparison to
26
ASU?
of 32, 8 of 15 for ASU.
Like you just can't have that. Like especially when you're playing as well as ASU did defensively. That totally allows them to hang in the game, which is exactly what the Wildcats did.
Yeah, and it wasn't a result of ticky-tacks. I mean, they're calling it tight, but as you call a rivalry game, like you either call it tight or you call it super loose. There's no really in between. So you have to adjust to that. ASU still has some dumb fouls early. I mean, I knew this team was going to be in big trouble in the second half when they had 4 fouls in the first 6 minutes of the second half. Like, you just can't get into foul trouble against a team that forces action like U of A does, and they did. And that was kind of the end of it. I mean, as I said, in the first half, they couldn't get anything to fall, so they got to the free throw line 20-something times.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what happens, what I kind of expected to happen with a team that has such a size advantage over us.
Yeah.
Like, they were obviously – it's going to be hard to stop someone like Koloko. I think Enoch, like I had mentioned it on the show yesterday, that he was going to be important.
I thought he was great.
Played pretty well defensively. He had 2 big blocks. Like I think he did the best he could when he was playing the best defensive player in the entire conference. And so, like, especially for his growth specifically, I think there's a lot to be a lot to be happy with, a lot to be hopeful for, but. Yeah, I mean, like Shane said, this wasn't. I don't think this wasn't the Stanford game where like we were just like the fouls were just ridiculous. I think this was just a matter of U of A adjusting, and this is how they were going to have to produce points because they weren't shooting threes. And we missed too many opportunities at the line. Like ASU did not. Shane texted at one point. Yeah. Shane texted at one point during the game. Need both. He made neither. Like. It just Shane has mentioned it multiple times. When you're an ASU team that is struggling like this, playing the best team in the country, one of the best teams in the country, you have to play mistake-free basketball, and they didn't do that. It's just the fact that it was this close. Even with that, is I don't know. That's why I'm just kind of sitting here. I was a number 2, just kissing my teeth.
It wasn't like. To beat a U of A team that plays incredible like they should, like they didn't. And when we said earlier that the narrative shouldn't be U of A was off, like U of A was off. Like that's not.
Yeah.
Like, but it was off mainly because of the defense. There are games that U of A plays where they don't. It's almost like a perfect game, and ASU would have to play a perfect game to beat this team sometimes. Tonight they didn't have to play a perfect game to win, and they need to capitalize on those opportunities, and they didn't. Unfortunately, today I keep saying tonight. It's 3:00 on a Saturday. Just a weird time for a game. What a weird game for a weird time, huh?
Yeah,
100%.
It's just. I mean, I think you saw in the second half just the difference between the great teams and the bad teams. U of A adjusted. They stopped the one thing that was killing them in DJ Horne, and ASU did not. DJ Horne got shut down, and they had no answer to that. Like,
but did they shut him down though? He just. I mean, he wasn't. But he
disappeared.
They didn't really change much. I mean, he didn't take as many shots. I'll pull up his 3-point numbers in the second half, but he just didn't make any. He finished. He missed his last 6 threes. Like, and they were good looks. He wasn't chucking anything up. He was getting good looks.
I suppose, but like, regardless, if DJ Horne is not going to be making his shots, you need to get offense from somewhere else, and they weren't really able to do that.
Yeah.
And so,
but that's been.
I think.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tochi. No, it's just the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's been the case for the last couple games. Shane, you touched on it earlier. DJ Horne, really capable of putting this team on his back in the first half, but there is something about halftime where he comes back out in the second half and he's not there. He disappears, and this isn't like a new thing for him. It's like consistent. Like he is consistently bad at putting the ball in the basket in the second half. And Shane, it's like you said, he wasn't like chucking up like bad looks. Like the majority of these looks were either uncontested or a guy just a couple feet out. So like, and those are the shots he was hitting in the first half. So
I need more Jay Heath looks. I
yeah,
need more
100%.
plays run for Jay Heath because not only can he stroke the ball when he's hot, like he can get really hot. We've seen it in the Oregon game. We saw it a couple games ago, but he can also get to the rim, and that's something ASU
Yeah.
completely lacks. Marion tries, but he's a little undersized. Jay Heath got some beef, man. He does. He really does, and he can finish at the rim with the best of them in the NCAA. I mean, his in-air adjustments and as I mentioned, his strength. It's unlike anything on this ASU team. He's really underutilized, I feel like. And Alonzo Gaffney, I don't think attempted a shot tonight as well, which is a little strange. And even
Mask
though he
me?
fouled out, yeah, Alonzo masked me.
Well, that was rough too. They got in some big foul trouble early. A lot of
Huge.
their guys in the paint, and it just
Literally
bad, man.
big foul trouble. 3 bigs combined for 7 fouls in the first 18 minutes of the game. Just you can't have that. You just can't. When you're playing Colocolo and Ballo, you just can't.
Yeah.
And I think that falls on coaching. I want to say that part specifically. Maybe I get the energy and the emotion at the start of the game when a lot of those fouls were picked up, but there's got to be a point where you talk during the week of hey, you are going to be outmatched, outsized, and outstrength in the paint. You have got to be more aware.
Yeah, but U of A forces the action. I mean, we saw Enoch multiple times try to stay away and put his hands up, and Colocolo wasn't having it. He wanted contact.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. I think Colocolo is just so dominant that you didn't have much of a choice other than to get physical with him. And then I think I saw when Enoch came into the game in the second half after he was in a little bit of foul trouble, he would stand there right with his hands up, and Colocolo would just go by him. I don't know. It's just the product of being undersized. That was a thought I had during the game. It's just I was watching this and I was just okay, ASU needs to go find someone that's 7 feet tall. And I don't know who's going to be. Just go find someone that's huge because we just don't. They just don't have the size to compete with the front court that is. And Tabellis did not Mike Luke tweeted it out multiple times. Tabellis did not look great, and he's a big part of their front court. And so even when half of their front court is not performing, they still have Colocolo. So ASU needs size that they just didn't have.
Yeah, and they're not going to have to play Arizona every game, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's true too. That's been their thing though over the course of the last handful of years. From a size perspective, they've been guard you, so they haven't had to worry about these 7-footers because they're running in transition. But just watching Colocolo out here today, he is massive. It's one thing to watch him on TV. This guy's I'm pretty sure if I stood side by side, I would be to his waist. That's how long his legs are, man. His legs are massive.
You're saying his legs, his feet to his hip are 5 foot 11, right?
That's the way they look, man. That's the way they look.
Wait, can I address
ginormous.
something?
Oh, good.
This typical Tucson resident is in our chat doing U of A chants after beating ASU in the last 6 minutes of a game, who has won 6 games this year. Get the hell out of here, Gabriel. You should be embarrassed. AS just came into fucking McHale and almost beat your ass. That's
covered.
Yeah.
And covered on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated fucking sportsbook app, baby. Yeah. Download it today. Use that promo code PHNX. Bet just $5 on any AFC or NFC championship money line. Get $280 in free bets if your team that you bet on wins. I think the only money line worth taking would be the Chiefs. But I know you guys have other thoughts on that. Has anything switched from the last couple days?
No. Give me the Bengals.
I'm riding with the Chiefs.
Bengals +7, Rams -3.5. Feed it to me every single day in every single hour for the next 24.
Oh.
That's where I'm at. We're going to talk about it on Monday.
So there's to inform you a little bit, you can actually head over to the PHNX Sports Instagram page, click on the Instagram story, and there's a really good informational piece this guy does explaining why the hell the Bengals aren't going to cover. He's also really cute, tall, handsome. So go ahead and
I don't remember making a video.
Listen, wait, real quick.
No. We can't get into this yet. We can't. This has to be the end of the show. That's 21 plus Arizona only game. Well, first of all, PHNX, use that promo code when you sign up. Bet $5, get $280 in free bets if the money line that you bet on wins this week. NFL Weekend Championship rounds. It's 21 plus, Arizona only, gambling problem. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Shawn is not the best host, or not the most attractive host. He's not the hottest host.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, maybe you are. I think you're the cutest. I wouldn't say hottest.
No, I think I'm the cutest.
No, that doesn't fit. That doesn't fit.
All right, do we want to pull up the numbers?
Do we have numbers?
Oh yeah.
Oh, these numbers.
he thought numbers.
I thought you had
stats
like a
explaining who's cuter.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, I win this easy. But no, let's get straight to it. And these are the numbers for the game. They'd be very different if you just looked at the first half. But somehow ASU shot only 1% better than the Wildcats from the field after just completely outshooting them in the first half. 3-point percentages, ASU at 38.1, U of A at 13. U of A out-rebounding the Sun Devils 46-41. The assist number is pretty similar. And then ASU ultimately committing 5 more turnovers than U of A. The big number that jumps out to me right there has got to be the 3-point percentage, right? Like,
well, the 3-point percentage is so misleading, though, if you think about it. They made 8 tonight to get to that 38% clip, and 5 of those were DJ Horne's. One of those, when we pulled up, one of those was Marion Jackson at the end of the game, which didn't matter. And 2 of those were Jay Heath's, one coming near the end of the game as well. Yeah. Like, they didn't shoot well from 3, I don't think.
No,
that number's misleading. But yeah, the 13%.
Yeah,
for
100%.
Sure. I think the number that stands out to me the most is the 17 turnovers, because 11 of them in the first half, which is bad. A lot of them unforced, a lot of weird ones. DJ Horne, like walking out of bounds, basically. A lot of times just losing the ball on a rebound. But they only had 6 in the second half. So they figured it out. They adjusted to something, at least. Yeah.
So where do they go? Like, we've talked about it. You guys are home. I got to drive all the way back. I just want to get your guys' take on something we've talked about, like, for the last couple games of, okay, you know, this was a bright spot, but they fell short here. And it's, again, the same narrative that we've seen for ASU just the last couple games and really the season as a whole. So from this game specifically, what are you taking and bringing it to the next game for ASU?
Okay, stop me if I sound like a broken record, which I probably do. But guys, they don't need wins. They don't need stats. The resume doesn't matter at this point. This is a positive sign. You weren't expecting a win at McHale. And the players hate this for sure, because once again, they started off well. They had a chance to win it and they just couldn't. But mainly U of A took it away. They didn't give it away.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of positives to take from this game. I think you find out a lot more about your rotation now. They've now stuck with the same starting lineup for, I think, 4 games in a row. And I like it. I like going big. I need more from Kamani, not only on offense, but also just you saw the dunk that, like, at the end of the first half where U of A was trying to start a run, and a huge steal and dunk by Kamani really got stuff going. Like, that type of stuff needs to happen more. It doesn't have to be a dunk always, just more leadership. So I think you have your rotation now. You know you're going to win games with defense. You held the best scoring offense in the nation, or one of the best now because of the UCLA performance in the nation, to under 70 points at 67. Like, there are positives. And so I think more than anything, they're finding out their identity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
finally,
ASU, like, look at who they have played. They played Stanford, who just beat USC, and then U of A. 3 of the top 4 teams in the conference. And they, like, obviously the Stanford game was, the fouls were ridiculous, but, like, they have shown that they're capable of playing good basketball against really good teams. And then the last, like, bad team that they played, they won. They beat. So, like Shane said, they're not playing these teams every game. Like, we're going to get past this just absolute hell stretch of a game, and we're going to play they're going to play opponents that they can beat. And I expect them to do that. The only thing I'm concerned about is them playing down to their opponents, which I don't think Bobby is going to let them do. I don't think that's the kind of team they are. I think they just struggled at the beginning of the season. They've started to figure things out, but it's just so happened to be at a time where they're playing the hardest opponents they have in the conference. So I think there's a lot to be hopeful for. They show that they're able to play well when slowing down the pace today, which I think is very, like, hope inspiring, I guess. They showed that they're able to hang with one of the best teams in the country. Like, there's a lot to be hopeful for. It's just once they start putting things together, like they didn't have a good performance from Marion. If Marion and DJ Horne can put together good performances at the same time, I think there's a lot to be hopeful for in terms
This
of
team. This
Oh,
team
yeah, just in
deserves
terms of the future.
fans. This team deserves
yeah,
fans
100%.
on Thursday. USC 9 p.m. This team deserves a fan base to be at this game and to be loud. They can win that game for sure. They can beat USC.
100%.
USC is a little bit fraudulent, and they showed that they can beat them for stretches. So I'm excited for that game on Thursday.
Yeah, should be good. I mean, if you're looking at just what happened over the course, just how much this team has grown in 5-6 days from that USC game and just that tip, like I went from being not very optimistic that ASU would hang around in the USC game or that they would even hang around in this game. But after watching just the way they started against USC and the way they played a full first half of basketball against the number 3 team in the country, like that USC game is 100% winnable. And you win a game like that in Tempe during this stretch where you've got U of A again, you're going to have UCLA, then you got Washington after that. Like that win is going to be what jumpstarts, hopefully, something really inspiring into the Pac-12 tournament.
So many games left. There's so
And
many
they
games
also-
left.
They've been on the road for the last 3 games, and they've been in every single one of the games. Like it's wait until they get to DFA, especially for that Arizona game when they're gonna have a crowd, because again, people always show up for this rivalry. Like Shane said, they should show up for this USC game. Like if the Sun Devils are at home with a loud crowd after they've hung in these games on the road, ASU is clearly capable of winning these games. And I'm not going to lie, like at a point during this game, I was like, if ASU wins this game, they're going to get embarrassed at home. Like, I don't think U of A is the kind of team that's going to lose twice to ASU. And I think but now that ASU lost this game, I think the potential for ASU to be like, look what we just did in McHale. What can we do in DFA? Yeah. I think ASU comes home and they have a chance of doing a very similar performance, but actually winning.
Totri, how loud was it in the arena after Kurt Kriisa hit that 3?
It
must have felt so good. That was a Marion-esque slump he was having.
Yeah, 100%. Like it was.
You know what's unfair? Why does he get his first name on the back of his jersey? Huh? I know he's from Estonia, but that should be illegal.
Listen, man, you're gonna have to ask him that, okay? Like I have no idea personally.
Give me these answers, Totri. Why are you even there?
Listen, I'll ask. We'll ask Bobby when we get to talk to him next, which is hopefully very, very, very soon. Before we wrap things up, there was other big news aside from the ASU U of A basketball game that so rudely interrupted the Sun Devils' possible victory.
So mean that he did that.
Like it was very rude.
Florida man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a Florida man decided that he may or may not at this point want to retire from the National Football League.
Dude, there's no way he retires.
This was the most non-news ever. It's like everyone's like he's retiring, and it's like hot. Just kidding, maybe not.
Dude, even when it was like Adam Schefter, like that's like the end all be all usually. Like when he reports stuff, you're like, okay, this is happening. Even when I saw that, I'm like, no, he said 45. He's coming back. He didn't win a Super Bowl this year. He's coming back.
Yeah.
This seems so like Tom Brady and near the end of his career has been such a troll. This seems like so like either he is just trolling about this retirement because him retiring this way seems so un-Brady-esque. Like I expect some triumphant video and like him kissing his kids on the lips and like all of this stuff. I don't expect it to be leaked by Adam Schefter. So it seems very odd.
I can't believe for 20 plus years we've let this man get away with winning 7 Super Bowls and kissing his child on the lips on national television. He's just that good. He's just that good. He can do that.
I guess so.
I can't. I want to see a video of him riding a goat in the Gillette Stadium. Go back to New England for one season. Let Mac Jones ride the bench because that's what he deserves. He's an overrated quarterback. Wow. Give me Brady one more time. Although I hate Tom Brady.
Wow.
Wait, who'd you just say is an overrated quarterback?
Mac Jones.
Oh, okay.
He is an overrated quarterback.
No, you're right. I thought you said Tom Brady was an overrated quarterback, and I was like, hold on now.
Tom Brady is single-handedly too much dip on the chip. He's single-handedly the reason the Chargers haven't won a Super Bowl yet. Single-handedly.
You're talking to a Bills fan, so
yeah. I mean, you had to deal with him twice a year. That's pretty bad too. He owned that division for a long time. That's rough.
Before I forget, I want to shout out Jade Lavelle. She scored her 1,000th point the other night.
She's so good.
Just an absolute baller.
Not enough to get past the number 2 team in the nation, but they're fun to watch, man.
Yeah. They lost by what, 20? A little more than 20.
Yeah.
Rough.
That's Stanford women's basketball for you, though. They're just an absolute. Don't talk about a wagon. They're just unbelievable.
Hey, there's more games to be played,
and there's also more things to be sung. We haven't done this yet. Why don't we pull up our lyric of the game for tonight? I wanted to go a little more sad than this, but it is still a little bit sad. This comes from one of my favorite artists, Daniel Caesar, mixing some pain and some passion. Nothing is ever enough, and that's what I feel like, because this team, it's always, like I'm in way too deep. I'm just in way too deep with my love for this team. Like, I will never give up the hope, and until that last buzzer goes off in the Pac-12 tournament, it just won't go away. And there's a lot of passion, but with that, I always know there's going to be pain when I'm watching the game. And I had a little bit of pain, obviously, when they lost tonight, but also when my boy Marian went down. I was scared for a second. He got assaulted on the ground.
Grabbed his knee too. That didn't look good. That didn't look good for the first couple seconds of that. Not at all.
Glad he's okay.
I will say that is a great lyric, because this result hurt, but it only hurt because I like it. The hope was so strong. Mm-hmm. Like I at no point in watching, I don't think at any point in watching an ASU sporting event, like football or basketball, I have ever been as oh my God, this is oh my God, we might do this. Like we had they had a chance of upsetting U of A. It
totally reminded me of the Kansas games, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, they really did. Again, the final score is going to be what it is. The second half is going to be what it is. But if you watch the game all the way through, ASU 100% had a chance to win this game, and a good one.
Last thing I want to touch on about this game, Totri, you were obviously there. Atmosphere-wise, how loud was it? What did you think about that? And then compare it to DFA.
Yeah, I don't think it compares to DFA.
They have running water.
They do, from my knowledge.
Working electricity?
They do have running water. Yeah, everything seems to be working. The lights did go off for a second behind me. But overall, from an atmosphere perspective, obviously it was killer to start things out.
It's a great place.
But U of A, just the way they shot, and then the way ASU was able to slow the pace down, play well defensively, they were really able to shut things down, from a crowd perspective. It really wasn't until they hit the first 3 in the second half to where this place actually felt like it was the home of the number 3 team in the country. Mm-hmm. It didn't at all until they had sunk that first 3. Then every 3 onward, it was okay. And then the student section got into it, heckled Bobby for the solid 8-9 minutes in the second half.
Of course.
And then, from that point, once the crowd got into it, it was going to be tough for ASU to come back. So I definitely think it played a role, especially in the second half. But the Sun Devils did a great job in the first half of just, again, controlling the pace and really taking the crowd out of it.
It's weird. A team like this, you almost think wouldn't be able to perform under pressure, and it seems like they play better in hostile environments as of late, at least. I know the USC game wasn't a full capacity crowd, but there were fans there. They played well in that first half. The Oregon game was a full capacity crowd, very hostile, gutsy win in overtime. They can do that. They just need to get themselves into those positions, and I'm sure we'll see more of those in this long stretch of hell that ASU is on right now.
Yeah,
they are the Sun Devils.
You saw Marian against USC and DJ tonight. They clearly enjoy kind of being the enemy a little bit. They were chirping at the crowd a little bit. They clearly fed off of that energy. So that's why people need to show up to DFA.
I'm telling you, bro, it makes me so mad. I've talked about this so much, but be better, Arizona State basketball fans. Just be better. The 922 crew does a great job. And you should as well, and show up and be loud. Totri, what do you got going on at gophnx.com in the next couple days or in the last couple days?
Last couple of days, we got a great piece on kind of the drama that unfolded with ASU football, the coaching changes, the offensive coordinator out, maybe the meeting behind the Brian Billick hire. And actually, you could go check out that article while it's still free. So you should definitely go do that before that changes. And then obviously we're going to have some baseball stuff. We had the very first baseball media availability with the first baseball practice happening yesterday. We should have an article
Willie
out.
Bloom.
Yeah, we got a lot of great stuff at PHNX, and that doesn't even include all the great gear that we've got in the locker. So it's 20% off Sun shirts, right?
Yep. If you're a member, though, and to get a membership, you can get your first month for just 50 cents, or you can get an annual membership for just under $60. You get a free T-shirt with that. Did you get any food when you were down there?
I didn't, but I'm looking for a place post game for sure. Any options?
Leo wants you to bring her back kimchi time.
Kimchi time.
Noodles.
My crystals are telling me no. The
stars aren't aligning.
They are vibing.
Frog and Firkin has a killer salad and a bunch of other good things. They just kind of have everything. No anchovies.
McDonald's
fantastic.
has really good fries.
Oh, McDonald's.
Really good.
McDonald's. Well,
Tucson delicacy.
wait. Real quick. Favorite fast food French fry?
Wendy's.
Yeah.
No. Take it back. Arby's curly fries.
Arby's curly fries.
Goated.
100%.
Go.
There you go.
Okay, mine's controversial, but well done In-N-Out French fries.
Oh my God. You
In-N-Out
Because everyone complains about them being soggy, but if you get them well done,
trash.
they're perfect.
No, like cardboard.
Yeah, no, they're
Coach, I'm
trash.
gonna punch you in the throat when you get back.
Promise?
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
ASU hockey, ASU men's hockey, Minnesota State 507 tonight. Win or they don't make the tournament. Basically, it's a massive game. Obviously, it's in Minnesota State, so it's not like you can support them, but like watch the game. It's a huge game. I mean, you can make it to Minnesota State in 2 hours, maybe.
No, you couldn't.
No, you can't. But it's a massive game, so I'm definitely gonna be keeping tabs on that.
100% up against the number one team in the nation. Guys, where can the peeps follow you on social media?
Oh, it's just right below me. Okay, Shawn.
At Shawn _the
You only get one light skin face per show. You've already exhausted.
I get as many
yours.
light skin faces as I want.
You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Beef.
Oh man, guys, show is off the rails. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You can follow the show on social media at PHNX _Sun Devils. Thank you guys again so much for tuning into this post game show, and we're gonna have plenty more to come coming next week.
Peace.